Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. And if you're one of my regular viewers, you will know that I just reviewed Commitments, the soundtrack from the movie The Commitments, featuring the band The Commitments performing soul classics in the style of Dublin soul. Great movie. I love The Commitments. I think it is a fantastic movie. And it's one of those movies where it's got this great part in there. Because this takes place in the late 80s, early 90s. The book came out in 87. The movie came out in 1991. And, or the movie was filmed in 90 and came out in 91. So there's this great line in there, and this is Ireland at that time, where they're talking about how they're going to play Dublin Soul because they're Irish. And as the Irish, they're the blacks of the UK. And they're Dubliners. So as Dubliners, they're the blacks of Ireland. And they're Northern Dubliners. So they're the blacks of Dublin at that. So they're just the ultimate blacks in comparison to the rest of, when every way you look at it, they're, they view themselves as being the blacks, the oppressed of that, using that representation. Because let me tell you, in the late 80s, early 90s, man, it was pretty bad. It was bad. The ghettos that they were living in, stuff like that. Like, they keep it real in this movie. They really, truly, and honestly keep it real to the point where, there's a scene where they're taking a horse up an elevator into an apartment because, yes, that happened. Because, yes, people in Ireland were still using horses to get around, which is, to me, kind of cool. And to do chores and to do stuff like that, which to me is cool. But they were living in apartments and they'd have to take the horse up the lift because trying to do the stairs would kill the horse. Okay? So that's why there's this comparison in here. So, okay, let's get into the music now that I've talked about the movie a little bit. I'm at least not dragging on as much as I did my last one about the movie where I went on for the first 5 minutes about it. So, The Commitments Volume 2. There were some songs that were left out from this one. This had 14 songs on it. There were a total of 20 songs. There were a total of 24 songs that were chosen by the director for the cast to perform. Now, this has 14 of them. This has 4 of them plus 7 others. So, somewhere out there, theoretically, there are 6 more songs that have not been released. Now, maybe it is these other 7 tracks that are on here, but you can hear a difference in when they were recorded. So it really does feel like the 4 tracks from the movie on here, you can tell they're from the movie. The other 7 were never in the movie, and they went back and recorded them for this album, which this album did come out a year later. And oh wow, I just noticed I left the price sticker right here. I just picked this up within the last year. Picked it up used. I have had this one forever. I love this one. I didn't pick this one up because I wasn't 100% sure which ones I wanted to go with that were... Because, once again, there's only 4 in here that were in the movie. Now, This album does fall short compared to that one. I really wish they would have released all the songs from the movie onto one soundtrack. Okay? Because the band itself did try to keep going after the movie, or at least some of the members of the band tried to keep going after the movie because they really liked what they had, and they actually were doing quite well for themselves. There's a whole documentary about it in the 10th anniversary edition DVD, or what I keep calling the 10th anniversary edition DVD. According to what I saw briefly as I was going through here, it actually would have been more like the 11th anniversary edition, but 12th anniversary edition. Anyways, neither here nor there. Let's get into the music, because now, oh my god, I did it. I went over 5 minutes rambling on. Alright, first off, the movie starts with Hard to Handle. This is, if I remember correctly, one of the ones that was in the movie, and it was a fun song in the movie. It's one of the ones I really do wish would have been on the other soundtrack as well, because they do a really good rendition, a really good cover. And this actually would have been around the same time that the Black Crowes version came out and was really popular. I actually do like the more soul styled rendition of this one with the horns and whatnot, as opposed to the more rocked out version of the Black Crowes version. Believe it or not, I do actually still enjoy the Black Crowes version. It's not bad. I like it better now than I did when it first came out. When it first came out, this was the only one I would have liked. Grits Ain't Groceries. One of the ones on here I'm not overly about. It doesn't do anything for me. I Thank You. Okay, so this one I think is interesting that it's on here, because I Thank You is an Isaac Hayes song. And we're talking Isaac Hayes as in, Shaft legendary Isaac Hayes, or for those of you that don't have a clue what Shaft is, you might know Chef from South Park in the earlier years of South Park. Okay, so this was a song that he wrote. Really great song, really enjoyable. I know it best as performed by ZZ Top, because I've got ZZ Top's version of it. I really enjoy it on the ZZ Top version. This, you can tell it was not recorded when they recorded the other tracks. It does not have that sound. It doesn't have that vibe. The band sounds a lot tighter and a lot more when they're recording the newer tracks. And that's wonderful. That's great. But the downside to me is the recordings themselves definitely sound more studio recorded, and they don't have that energy that you hear on the movie ones. There's always a rawness to a band in their early days, especially when they're recording as a band. They're not recording it as studio recording artists. You know what I'm saying? And I Thank You, that kind of has that vibe to it. That's the Way Love Is. It's alright tune. I don't mind it. I don't have too much to say about it otherwise. Show Me. Same thing. Good tune. Enjoyable, but it's one of the new recordings, and, they're just Saved. Same thing. I enjoy it, but don't quite have that connection. Too Many Fish in the Sea does actually appear during rehearsals in the movie, but never as a proper performance and never serious. This recording of it, God, I'm glad it was not actually in the movie. I don't like the song at all. I don't think they even should. I think for what they used it for in the movie, it was perfect. It worked perfect in the movie for what they needed it for. And It's a brilliant use for that reason, but I don't like the song. It's just one of those songs that the way it's done and how I just no. Sad song. Meh. Land of a Thousand Dances. It's a good one on here, I guess. Nowhere to Run. Once again, we are actually back to one that was in the movie, and you can hear that energy, that movie energy in it. And really, that is the problem where the band sounds tighter and more together. It's just not the same energy. And that energy makes a huge difference to me. It really does. And it's not even necessarily the connections with the movie, because Too Many Fish in the Sea, I don't care if they performed it in the movie or not. Once again, what it did in the movie was really good. The song itself, I don't like. Nowhere to Run. Nowhere to Run is another one, though, where Too Many Fish in the Sea was a lot of practicing, warming up, kind of thing. Nowhere to Run was kind of the same idea. It was a lot of warm up and practicing and stuff like that. And I really dig it for those parts. But on this album, it really has that togetherness. Like, it's literally a practicing where it's a bunch of I don't want to say it's a montage, but it is. It's kind of a montage of all of them practicing this one song, but each time it's focusing on that person while they're practicing and playing, kind of thing. So it's really cool, but at the same time, it's kind of like, oh man. In the movie, on here, it's just really good sounding. It's nice, cheery, good tune. And then you got Bring It On Home to Me, which is a decent way to close out the album. It's not bad. I don't mind it. The whole way around. Now, when I'm reading up, this one, unfortunately, did not hit the same success that this one did. And I really do blame it on the way that the other 7 songs are recorded on here, the way that they were done, everything like that. I think if they would have been recorded and everything in that live band, well rehearsed, the same way, if they were recorded the exact same way that they were done for the movie, exact same, this would have been a far superior album, I do believe. Even, should have made a sequel. Could have meted the sequel, just the band deciding to get back together. If you've seen the movie, you know that what I'm saying would be like, but, and I agree. However, there's always a way around it. I really think the Commitments would have been one of those things that would have been great if they could have released a movie probably like every 2 years. Especially if the band members were willing to lock into it to like every 2 years get together, do this movie. They really could have done really well for themselves, or every 3 years even. Get together, do this movie, go out, tour the album kind of thing. They could have done really well, I think. And it's really a shame that they didn't want to, because the way the first movie ends, I'm trying to do this without spoilers. Because the way the first movie ends, I get it why they wouldn't, but there's always ways around it, right? There's always ways around it. There's always things. There's always. I wish they would have done it that way. I definitely think they could have had some fun with it. I think they could have gone a little more meta with it. I think they definitely could have had a great. Or made an extended movie even, knowing that they were going to release these other songs on a soundtrack, or maybe they didn't know they were going to release these. I mean, I assume that these were the songs they had practiced. They should have filmed them for additional release as bonus material after the credits, whatever. They should have filmed it. They should have done it all the same. It would have been so much better. It would have been so much better, I think, than what we got on this one. But if you run across it, like I did, for $6 in the used section at your local CD shop or album store, record store, whatever you want to call it. Because I get vinyl or CD at the same place. Hell, I can get cassette there if I want. Always gonna recommend this one. This one's not bad. It's all right. I don't think I would listen. I won't listen to it as often, but I'll throw it in every now and then. There's, it's more likely to get it into a mix. At least have some songs get into a mix. Anyways, folks, those are my thoughts. Those are my views. Let me know what you think. We can talk about the movie itself. I'm cool with talking about the movie. Or we can talk about the soundtrack, the music on it. That's cool too. That's what the comment section is for, so we can have that dialogue. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button. That one's really important to me right now. There's a Patreon link also you can click on. Peace. Love. Take care.